Good evening, keeps up the cash. Gary B, the casual comic guy, and tonight my co-host we have Digger Jim in. How you doing, Jim?
Doing good, sir.
And of course, in the hot seat tonight, our man of the week, we have 22 Comics. How are you?
Good. How are y'all? Thanks for having me again.
Good. Well, we hope you had fun the first time, so we're here for the
Oh yeah,
interview show now.
yeah. No, it was great. I plan on laughing. So
Good. Well, we already had hit that before the show started.
Right.
yeah.
Listen, I watched the rewind. I watched the rewind of your show the other night, and you and Rob were cracking up.
Yeah.
Rob was on something though. He was crazy.
Right?
And
No, it was great.
He was awake that night for a change.
Yeah.
Well, let's say a quick hello to our audience. We got Las Cruces in. Good evening, Las Cruces. We got Jerry the Jitterbug. Good evening, Jerry. How you doing, sir? L Green Machine. How are you? Good evening. The Comic Vet. Not that kind of vet. Good evening, Chris. We got Jones Cajun. Good evening. Nice to see you. Comic Journey. Good evening, sir. Always good to see you in the chat as well, buddy. All right. And the Comic Collector. How are you? So we'll have people popping in and out. As always, guys, Chop and Drop. Good evening, sir. The links to their channels and Instagrams is in the description below. So please sub up these fine gentlemen. Ignacio, how are you, sir? But we're going to get to it in just a second. So this is a little different than the 1011. This is more of an audience gets to know you even more personally through questions. We're going to ask some of the basic questions in case no one's ever seen you before. And then we'll diverge, and Jim and I will ask you some out of the ordinary questions here and there.
Cool.
So the very first question, Remy Q Studios. Good evening, Brother Joe. Good evening. Right out of the gate is, what brought you into comics and what got you going in comics? It can't get more basic than that.
Right. I'm gonna lead it all the way back to like my mom, essentially, and then a little bit of my pop as well, because I'd sit there and I'd watch like 66 Batman with him and stuff like that, and he would take me to go see the Ghostbusters and just any kind of like, he was into that kind of stuff. So my mom, she was an artist. She did t-shirt designs and stuff like that. She had a station next to her. That's where I would sit during the day, and I'd sit there and they said I'd just draw for hours and hours. So eventually that led me into like wanting to learn how to draw Mickey Mouse, and she taught me how to draw Mickey Mouse and the Ninja Turtles, and then, I think I said this all on the other show, but eventually like it got to where I was wanting to draw like Wolverine and Gambit, and she's like, honey, no, you're gonna have to figure that out. That's all on you now. Like, right. So I would sit there and get the comic cards and I'd draw those, and then I'd sit there and I'd get I'd get comic books and I'd sit there and learn how to draw those and stuff like that. So I think that's what led me into comics. And then of course, like everybody, I kind of dipped away for a bit, and then the Batman trilogy came out, the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy. I love that series, and I was like, I don't want to wait for another movie to come out, because that's kind of what got me back in, was the movies. And so yeah, I started picking up Batman and Iron Man. So and here I am now with
nice
shelves.
We touched on this a little during the other show, but I want to get back into it just a little bit, because all of us, we grew up with something our kids never had, which is too bad. It was the event of the week, Naman, and it was, of course, Saturday morning cartoons.
Yes.
Now, like us, were you there with your bowl of cereal sitting in front of the TV every Saturday morning? And what cartoons were you religiously watching every Saturday?
So Saturday, my cartoons were like Looney Tunes and Garfield. Because I just had like rabbit ear stuff. Like we didn't have like cable and satellite and stuff like that.
Same.
So my Saturday mornings were Garfield and Looney Tunes, and I can't remember if any superhero stuff came on then, but I vividly remember in the afternoons, like Fox Kids would come on, and that's where you got your Batman the Animated Series, and you got your the X-Men. And the Spider-Man. And so I would watch those in the afternoon when I came home from school. So those were my cartoons. And I remember Thundercats, I'd watch that. I think that was on Saturday. The Real Ghostbusters, I'd watch that on Saturday. So yeah, it was just all that pop culture stuff.
And it was such a good weekly ritual. Like as a kid, you got to look forward. Saturday was something to look forward to. The kids don't really have that now. They can watch
Right?
it anytime they want,
Yeah.
constantly. And although that's an awesome thing, it does kill a bit of the magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. My son's like my pop. He's sitting there with the clicker and he's just going back and forth and stuff. I'm like, bruh, pick a show. Let's go. You got to calm down with that.
And there was times I'm like, oh man, 2 shows I love are on at the same time. Which one
Right. What am I gonna do?
During the commercials, you're trying to catch a little of the other one, right? And then you
Right.
switch it back. You try to switch back and time it right.
Yes, absolutely. Well, and like I'm like, hey, bro, go feed the dogs. He's like, but my show. I said, pause the stupid show. You can do that. Like, don't act like you can't pause
Right.
it.
Right. We can't do that, but back in the day.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
And Comic Journey's listing one of my favorites, but he said
Thundar.
Barbarella. It's Thundar the Barbarian, which was an awesome cartoon. I loved it. And unfortunately, that was a victim. Like, I don't know if you remember this. A lot of that was during like the Reagan era, when Nancy Reagan got really involved with all these shows aimed at kids had to have a message. So you have this show that was performing incredible, and because they didn't have a message to kids, it was just telling a story. They couldn't continue doing it on the big channels.
Oh wow.
So like that's why like on G.I. Joe you had the little blurb at the end, and these other cartoons, the more you know, and all that stuff. There had to be something educational in it or a lesson. That's why you had the little thing at the end of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. That's all.
Wow.
That's yeah. So Nancy Reagan ruined our good cartoons with the best of intentions for children.
Right.
But I mean, way to crush creative freedom, right? Oh, you have a story to tell?
Well, that's okay as long as you make it educational.
Right.
Right. And then it's really, and not every story's got to be educational. It's just got to be entertaining.
Right.
Right. Right.
But,
How are you going to make these cats people's educational? I'm just saying, like,
right? Oh, but no, I loved Saturday. And like one of my favorite afternoon cartoons, and I don't know if you watched it. I loved Johnny Quest.
Yeah.
that was.
Well,
Go ahead.
No, I mean we got that out on Sunday mornings. We didn't get that in the afternoons. It was like Sunday morning, and my brother and I'd be glued to the TV for that one. But other than that,
It just felt like a
we
more
never
adult
hit
cartoon you're watching
Yeah,
as a kid,
yeah.
right? The adventure was really a lot
it
more
was-
adult, and
right. It was the way it was drawn to and everything.
yes,
you
and
know.
that music,
Yeah.
the Johnny Quest music pumped you up for the day.
Yeah.
I love the artwork of those cartoons better than, especially like the stuff that we have now. Some of the stuff my
Sure.
son turns on, I'm like, bro, you got to turn that off. No, we ain't watching that here.
Right?
Right.
Yeah, I still love 2D animation.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just
Yes.
it's and back then too, before the censorship, when Wile E. Coyote could die 16 times in one cartoon and it was okay.
Right.
Right?
Oh, Jerry's pulling out Land of the Lost. Oh my
Oh,
God.
Land of the Lost was fun.
Land of the Lost was awesome, but just showing our age.
Absolutely,
Good
Norm.
Lord, it was
Right.
showing our age.
Well, honestly, if you want to show y'all's age, y'all probably gonna kick me off after this. My pop talks about Johnny Quest, what he would watch when he was a kid. So like that
Yeah.
wasn't even a show for me. Like,
Right, and I didn't think it was because I thought you were younger than we are. But yeah, I remember my brother and I sitting
Reruns, Jim. Reruns.
Saturday morning or Sunday morning, and my mother's like, "Come on, get in the car, we're going to church." But like, wait a minute, it's 5 more minutes of Johnny Quest. The Lord will not go anywhere.
That and
My
I used
father-
to love and of course, when you go back and watch some as an adult, you have
Yeah.
that magic in your head, and then
Yeah.
you go to watch some of the live, especially the live action. It's like, oh my gosh, how did I even watch this?
right?
But I used to
Yes.
watch the Shazam, the
Shazam.
ISIS. I used to watch, all
Riding
those
around
live
in
action
his-
ones, like Jerry was saying, the Land of the Lost.
you
But I used to
know,
love the Shazam, and right here, El Green Machine saying it, the
Yeah.
Shazam and ISIS.
yeah.
I loved all that stuff, and there was a Bigfoot one. So they were doing a lot of fun things back then. Now,
Yeah.
back then with the television, and maybe this is before your time, but I think this is probably crosses over because these shows have been in reruns forever. In your household, did you guys watch the live action shows like the Linda Carter Wonder Woman and the Lou Ferrigno Bill Bixby Incredible Hulk?
That wasn't, like I said, the only one I think we watched was Batman 66. I think that was the
Okay.
only one that was like recirculating. I remember vividly watching that with Pop. And I don't remember Linda Carter. I've tried watching it now and I honestly can't do it.
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bixby's Hulk is if I can get to Lou Ferrigno, I'm all right. I can do that. And
the first season of the Wonder Woman is hard. It gets easier with seasons 2 and 3 when it becomes more of a superhero show.
Yeah.
Okay, I might have to do that then because I want to. Like the want is there, but the will is not. Like,
Right. Well, and some of the dated dialogue in those is kind of hard to get through too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No doubt. So, circling back to what you said, you decided you weren't gonna drop out of comics. You just kept going, but you just did Batman and Iron Man. Was the TV show an influence on just collecting the Batman or
the movies? The Christopher Nolan movies were the influence on collecting Batman, and the Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man at that time was the whole influence of me being the Iron Man fan that I am.
Right.
And so, and then it kind of branched out from there. I'd pick up other titles here and there. I found Second and Charles. And so I started going back and trying to find the Civil War storyline and picking up those kinds of storylines.
Yeah.
So
I love Second and Charles. We have one in the next, on the other side of the, I say on the other side, you have to kind of go over the mountain a little bit and into the next town, and it's right there. But whenever I go, it never fails. I usually am able to find something at a decent price.
Now, I've never seen a Second and Charles. We've never had those up here.
Yeah.
They're it's basically a pop culture store, but most of it is secondhand. About 80% of it's secondhand.
Right.
I love secondhand stores. I can get lost in like an old used bookstore. Forget it. I can be in there for hours.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean they keep their store very nice, very tidy. Like I said, their parent company is Books A Million.
Right.
And so like they keep all their stuff nice. It's not like you walk into a junky like thrift store or anything like that. And I'm not knocking the thrift stores. I love thrift stores, but I'm just saying like there's definitely a difference between
this is a step above.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, this is definitely Target. So
yeah. But you know what's interesting about that is I've been to several, and you can tell, and I don't think they have a like corporate policy when it comes to comics. It is a personal thing because I've been to one where I'm like, okay, this guy or girl, whoever priced this doesn't know what they're doing because this book cost way more than this.
Right.
But then I've been to another one where the guy's like, okay, is he smoking something? This book is way overpriced. It's a $2 book and he's trying to put $7 on it. I'm like, is he crazy? You know, so it's every one of them is a hit or miss.
Well, you know, Jim, you take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the
right. So, but I'm just saying that you know, I've been really lucky. I found some really early Hulk for like $5, and they weren't trash. They were in really good shape. You know, that old Herb Trimpe art, and it was just. I was like, oh my God, I'm scoring here with some Cap and some Hulk. And I was like, and then I'd shoot a picture and go to my brother and go like, John, look what I just got. I can't believe it. And he would go, you suck because, you know, the one down there is run by a person who clearly knows the value of the books. And they put them all behind that back case. You know, they have that. They usually have like a back case that has all the more valuable books. And that person knows what they're doing because theirs is nothing like the one up here.
I think ours just recently switched a guy or something because they've started pricing their stuff outrageous.
Yeah.
And like they don't really maintain the comic area either. Like it's not junky and messy, but you really have to like dig to like find whatever.
Right.
But yeah, and like they don't have a case anymore at mine. I think people have stopped bringing their comic books. I think there was a surge there for a bit, and now it's like I don't even know the last time they had a buy 5 get 5, and that used to be my thing. I would love that,
right? Because
I'd stock up on the bigger books then, because I'm like, okay, I'm getting all these bigger books for half off,
right?
So
nice.
No, that's awesome.
Now I didn't ask you on Tuesday, although we did talk about movies some, but I wanted to save this one for tonight. Being a big Iron Man fan. When that movie came out to sort of really kick the MCU off, even though the Hulk came before it, when that, or did the Hulk come out? When that
Hulk came afterwards.
Yeah, Hulk came after it. When that first Iron Man came out, and it was the unknown quantity, did you go see it in the theater then? And like the rest of us? Did you sit down not hoping for the best, and when it was even better than what you expected, you were just blown away?
So, like, growing up, I didn't read Iron Man. I honestly didn't even. I was like, it's a guy in an iron suit. I'm not big into that or whatever. And so I can't remember if I went to the theaters and saw it or not. I want to say I didn't. I want to say that I waited for it to come out.
Yeah.
And that, like, at the time, I was contemplating going to school for engineering anyways and stuff like that.
Right.
And so, like, I've always been somewhat of a, like, as I've gotten older, I've gotten more into being a gearhead and stuff.
Okay.
And so, like, figuring out how things work and all that, like, that's my bag. I love doing that kind of stuff. And then I saw Iron Man and I was like, just blown away. I was just like, this is my guy right here. He's sarcastic. He knows
Right.
his shit. Like,
Right.
this is it. This is
Right.
my guy. So yeah.
No.
Like, you know, we were talking the other night about how, like, I don't connect with Spider-Man, and we're joking about how, like, I was not popular or anything like that in high school.
Right.
But, like, my bag with Spider-Man was, I think, is that, like, first of all, everybody loves Spider-Man. And then secondly, like, Spider-Man doesn't have any confidence, it doesn't seem like, until he puts on the Spider-Man outfit. Like,
It's a
before
different
that,
persona.
yeah, exactly. But with, like, Iron Man, Tony Stark, like, he's that way all the time. And so that's what I love I
Right.
love his, and like, I understand that Peter Parker is smart as well, but like, I love the intelligence of Tony Stark way more. So
What's
And-
confidence is.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
And on
Absolutely.
Tuesday, Jim, we had figured out with 22 that he doesn't like poor superheroes. He has no need for them. He only likes the billionaire ones.
They can only
He
be
has-
rich.
He has no time for the poor superheroes that got to work
Right.
harder.
So I was thinking about it today, my top 5, and I don't even know what all my top 5 are, but Green Lantern, Batman, Iron Man, Daredevil, and I can't think of what my 5th one is, but those are my top 4. It's
But
like,
someone rich.
Daredevil is dirt
Daredevil
poor,
is rich.
man. Daredevil's poor.
He is, but
And
by
Green
choice,
Lantern-
though, he's a lawyer. He could be rich. He could,
but he's not.
he's not rich.
But
he
he's
could be
not.
comfortable. He could
And
be,
Green Lantern's not rich. Green Lantern was a pilot.
He's got a green ring to make the green.
Yeah, okay. I give you that. He can make the green. But you know, no, I'm for me, and I think I heard you say this too. For me, part of more than anything for my comic collecting has always been about the art.
Yes.
You know, I mean, the story, I love to have a good story, but it has to be, you know, I'm opening up the book and I want to see good art.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and Gary will tell you, we both opened up books before and you're like, what is this? I mean, it might be an amazing story, but it's hard for me to read it when the panels are displaced or the art is just so bad. Well, with that said, when I started collecting Iron Man, which would have been way before you, it was Bob. I think for me, it was Bob Layton, who draws to me is the best Iron Man artist, that hands down, in my opinion. That's just in my opinion. And if you didn't read the Demon in the Bottle series, go back and read it. You know, that's where,
and some fantastic covers then too.
Yeah,
right.
That's where Tony really humanizes himself to a point where he's like, wait a minute, I do have all this money, I do have everything, and yet I'm an alcoholic, and it hit hard. And you know, you should definitely read that. I don't know if you've read it or not, but you should.
No, that's like my pile of like to read. I'm so far behind on reading. It's like it's so far behind.
Right.
So
I got 2 long boxes of catching up. I've been catching up a little bit lately. My problem is I'm one of those guys. I'm not going to read a miniseries until I have it all. And all of a sudden, I'll have like 6 miniseries complete at the same time, and I have like 35 books that are there, and then it just it piles up. But we were talking, and as an Iron Man fan and a reader, so you already know his favorite Iron Man artist is Bob Layton. Did you have a favorite Iron Man artist who just was the sweet spot for Iron Man for you?
No, I never paid attention to, like, that's kind of one of my downfalls, is that, like, as much as I love the art and stuff like that, I have to make myself go back and like say, okay, well, who's writing this or who's drawing this? I'm so bad about just picking something up because I am behind and like just reading it and just like, and usually what happens is if like you like what you're saying, if the artwork's not there and the story is very subpar, that book is putting me to sleep every single time. And like, if the art's there though, I will continue just because I enjoy the art. So, but no, there's not one that sticks out as far as like, I do love Bob Layton. Absolutely. Like he, to me, is like the pioneer of the Iron Man artwork. Like, that's like the staple right there. And, but it's outside of him, there's nobody that like comes to mind that I'm like, oh, I love this or whatever the case is. So.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, go ahead, Jim.
No. You go ahead. I've been yakking.
I was like, yeah, because all the big heroes have like the artists that are really connected with them, right? Because you have like Neil Adams for Batman, and you know Peter Parker's got two. He's got John Romita Sr. He's got also Steve Ditko, who started it out. You know, Doctor Strange has Steve Ditko. Moon Knight has McNiven, who just had that incredible run, and then it's been doing some new stuff.
Right,
but,
McNiven, like. So mine's more of a style. I like, all right, so Gabriel Gelato, that is like right now, that's my big top artist. I love him. I love most anything he does. It's freaking just phenomenal to me.
Right.
David Mack, that's another one. And it's more that sketchy type draw. Like those are the artists that I usually follow. That we read, you were talking about, you know, the art being off and it puts the book off or whatever. And so like, we sat there for the podcast and we read Witches, which is drawn by Jock. And I was so excited about this because I like Jock's work. But he did this like this negative of watercolor that he would put over the panels. And it threw the artwork off for me so bad that I paid more attention trying to figure out why that negative was there than like the actual book that I was reading. And like I already have horrendous like reading like memory.
Right.
So like it totally just threw me off. I have to reread it now because like I liked it, but it wasn't necessarily like what I thought it was gonna be. So I don't fully know how I feel about Witches now.
Right.
So
no, I understand. Yeah.
And you know, Jim and I had talked because we both like the strong female characters on both sides, right? Yeah. Jim and I were both really excited for the Batgirls book.
Okay. Right.
And we both picked it up and we both set it back down. And when we opened it, it's like, no, this art does not fit anything that I associate with Batgirls. The art was so jarring. Like I didn't even start reading. I'm like, I won't be able to get by it. The art is that bad for me.
Right. Even if the story had been good, I'm not sure I could have.
Right. And we both talked like, yeah, I put it back too. It's like, yeah. And I was really excited. I was going to get them all, read it. Because, you know, I'm a big Barbara Gordon fan. And I even like Cassandra Cain. I was looking forward to it. It just
couldn't do it.
No, I mean, it was abysmal how fast I put that book back down. And I was so disappointed. Now, having said that, and when I picked up Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, that art, even though it's quite different, fits that story so well. I was completely captivated. Every panel and every issue of that 8-issue miniseries. It was just one of the standout series for me of that year.
Right. I've heard that's really, really good. I've learned a lot that like, especially with artists, but I know this also ventures into like writers as well, especially for my example that I'm going to give. Like that artwork has to fit that character. Like the sketchiness goes really well with like Batman and Daredevil and characters like that. But you almost need more of a smooth artist for like an Iron Man. Like having that sketchy armor, I think would be cool, but I don't think it would go over well because how sleek those armors are and stuff like that.
Right, because you're looking for a certain image with certain heroes.
Exactly. And so, like, the same thing I feel like goes with writers as well. So, like, Brian Michael Bendis is one that I really like. You know, I enjoy Miles Morales. Like, to me, that's more the Spider-Man that I read. I have his entire first volume. I picked it up as it was coming out. Right. And, like, I enjoyed all that. I read them all. And then there was something else he did that. He did some of the Daredevil Volume 2, and I enjoyed that run. Is like I have that whole volume as well. But like I just got done reading Superman Unchained, and I hated it. Like I'm not a Superman fan though either, but like it just
he didn't fit the character.
And on top of that, it was flipping Jim Lee artwork, which is another one of my favorites. Like, and like that didn't even save it for me. I was just, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm reading just I picked up Detective Comics. The Ron V's running it right now. I'm gonna finish reading it, see how it goes. Sometimes I don't want to go that deep into Batman psyche. I feel like we've already done that already, but I'm absolutely loving this. You should be getting Nightwing, bro. If you like Batman, you should definitely get Nightwing.
So I'm on Chip Zdarsky Batman and Daredevil right now. I'm loving that.
Yeah,
like absolutely loving that.
Yeah, I'm reading Batman too.
Ron V's, I believe he did Swamp Thing, the newest Swamp Thing.
Right.
That's so good. Oh my gosh. The artwork's on point. The story is good. Like, I love it.
Right. And I've heard good things about that. That'll probably be something I pick up in trade. I'm starting to do more of that now. I think I'm limiting my floppies and going to say, you know what, I'm just going to wait for the book, the whole thing, get it all at once.
I will say that should be done and over with. I think it was a 16-issue run, and I'm pretty positive it's done and over with now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I got to issue 12 or so. So like I'm right there towards the end, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it was only supposed to be a 12-issue run, and like I think everybody enjoyed it so much. Or
right, they extended it.
Yeah.
So
now, if you like Brian Michael Bendis, he had just had a independent series come out with Dark Horse called Joy Operations, which was a 5-issue series, which was really good. It caught me by surprise how much I enjoyed it.
I might check that out then.
It had a cool storyline and a cool character design, and I love the art, I love the story. I was all in on all of it.
Wow.
But again, he's one of those guys that's hit or miss for me. I did like his Spider-Woman Origins, I thought was good.
Yeah.
What was the name of that book?
Joy Operations.
Okay. So one that I don't like, that I've tried several times to like, is Tom King. I cannot stand Tom King.
Really?
Yeah, I do not
he's the one
like
who wrote
Tom
Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and
I know.
Dude,
that one I enjoyed, but that's the only thing I've read of him, and I've heard up and down about him. But I've only had the one experience with Tom King.
Yeah, I like
I am going to read the Strange series he did, though. I have all 12 issues of that, so I'll have a further opinion of him soon.
Right. I got I had all of Volume 3 of Batman. And I read up until I think the 30s or the 40s, and I just couldn't do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, maybe he just can't write Batman. So then I picked up his Rorschach series, and I read all the way through that, and every issue put me to sleep. And I was like, I just don't like Tom King, I think is what it boils down to.
You know, and I agree with that. I picked up the first 4 Rorschach and was like, wow, this is not for me. And I like Tom King, and this was not for me. And I think that is a true statement that there are some characters that people just can't write for, and others can.
Exactly.
And that's just, the way it is. They can't, at least it doesn't match your idea of what that person should be saying or doing as that character.
Well, like I wanted a Rorschach story. And like I didn't get a Rorschach story.
No, absolutely. I agree. I'm telling you, I agree with you. I got into 4 issues. I was like, what is this? And I remember telling my friend Dave, I was like, don't pick that book up, dude. It's not what you think it is, And he's like, really? Because he was a huge, Rorschach fan and Watchmen, the whole 9. I mean, I said, you can have mine. You can have my issues, and I'll let you read it.
Please,
and he read them, and he read the first 4 issues and said, "Yeah, what's this guy trying to do here?" And I was like, I don't know. That's why I quit after issue 4. I just was like, ugh.
I'm sure he had a point, but what it was, I have no idea, and he definitely didn't get it across to my southern ass, so I just put it down.
Now, I want to ask you though, as a reader, because you're a reader, right?
Yes, I do like.
just
Yeah.
What is one comic trope that always gets you and hooks you, and what is one comic trope that always distances you from a book? There's one that you always like and one that just like, oh, not this again.
Okay, so the one that I do like, all right, and this happened in any. I'm not gonna spoil it because I feel like it is a great book. Red Sun, though, like I was going through all that book and I was disliking it, but I was trying to push through because I heard it was good, and I'm glad I did because when I got to the ending of it and read that, I was blown away by it. So like the M. Night Shyamalan, if you will, like twist at the very end of the series.
Right.
I like that. I don't know what it is. I like that kind of stuff. I like the M. Night Shyamalan movies. Like I don't care what anybody says. So like I like that. Because that's what makes me honestly, like that's what made me finish Rorschach was like maybe if I get to the end of this, it's gonna be like Red Sun. Superman Unchained. Maybe if I get to the end of this, it'll be like Red Sun. And so like I keep looking for that, just that one thing that just makes all of it worth it. Mm-hmm. And there's not been anything yet, but maybe one day there will be.
It didn't have a good twist.
Yeah, I love the good twist. I love the good twist.
What's one trope you hate?
One trope I hate.
Mine is killing off a character because you always know they're coming back. I just think it's cheap.
Alfred's not back yet. I'll say that. I wonder if they'll keep him gone.
No,
because he's old anyways. Let's be honest.
I think they bring in his nephew. You're going to hear about, Alfred send a letter to England or something, some distant nephew.
With all those aliens in a Lazarus pit, Alfred will be back in some way.
Oh no, we'll see.
Time travel honestly gets so overdone.
Yeah.
I don't like when a story goes time travel.
You're going to hate those Kang books then.
I don't read them. They got awesome covers. Love the covers. Oh my god, I'll cover by a Kang book quick. Yeah. But time travel just to me it gets overdone. Like I don't mind a time traveler getting displaced somewhere. Right. But like to use time travel to fix a situation, I'm just like, okay. You've watched way too much Back to the Future, and
that's the entire Flashpoint. That's the entire Flashpoint series right there. Boom, done.
Yeah.
I agree. It's overdone.
That and like for the MCU, like for right now, we're talking like we feel like time travel is getting overused, and kind of so because it's Kang, but like in Miss Marvel, we were complaining about that. But like mind control was another thing. Like we got to where I was so freaking tired of mind control and continuously using that. I was just like, I'm done.
Amnesia. I hate amnesia in comics or movies. Everyone just conveniently forgets who they are for a while, and you got the journey back. Yeah. I could never ever read another amnesia story, and I'll be just fine.
So you didn't read that Nightwing?
No, I'm not a big DC reader.
Okay.
Now I know about it through my friends that do read DC.
Yeah,
but that would have pissed me off. Yeah, him not knowing who he is. That would have made me quit the book.
I heard about it, and I mean, because I was reading Batman at the time, and so I thought the KGB story was pretty cool. I did enjoy that, and I think that was part of that Tom King run, if I'm not mistaken. But like it didn't make me want to go read Nightwing. Like I've never been really a Nightwing fan. I don't know. It's just I've never whatever with Nightwing. And maybe I'll love it. I don't know.
And here's the thing. I would say the same thing you're saying. I've never been a big Nightwing fan. I didn't read a lot of the past stuff. And I think what I started picking this up. Wow, what are we on? We're on, I mean, this is the annual, but it was back a ways back. And then I read that issue where Alfred, had passed and left the note for Dick Grayson. And I was bawling, dude. I mean, I was like, this is crazy. This is making me feel something like, this is giving me all worked up. And then I started looking at him differently and being like, man, what I think I like about Tom Taylor writing and whatnot is he's really venturing out to say, this is not Batman. he is taking everything Batman has taught him and molding it to him to fit how he teaches the next person. Like there's a story here in the middle of this annual that is a perfect example of how oh crap, I'm losing my memory. Superboy, Jonathan Kent comes to see Nightwing and says, you know, I need you to teach me how to fight without hurting someone. Because he said, you know, I fought this dude and yeah, I'm pretty sure I broke him, you know, because, you know, he could, you know, he can do that.
Yeah.
And he said, look, you know, I need you to teach me how to not do that. And so during the whole time he's showing him all these things, you see these flashes of what Bruce Wayne made Dick Grayson do. You know, you have to do things 10,000 times to have them perfected and all this other stuff. And you can just see that he's not going to be like Batman. He's going to be on the, you know, a different way. Not that Batman was wrong,
but that's just his way.
But that's just his way. And I really like the way they're doing that for me personally. But yeah, I mean, that's my read of the week right now. I mean, everything else is just kind of okay. But yeah. Now, I'm going to, enough about me and all this stuff. I'm going to talk about your shows. I want to talk about, I love it when your wife and you get on together. I think it's hilarious. I am so jealous. I'm not lying because there's no way my wife would ever want to get on and do anything with me like this. I've even said, hey, you want to come on? No. Now she, you know, I will give her this. I will talk about books and she will take some of it in and retain some of it. And then some of it goes away. I mean, she was out with a bunch of her girlfriends and they won a trivia contest because she knew who the Red Skull was. And they won the damn thing on that. Like nobody out there knew who the Red Skull was. And you know, it was them against like another group, and they were in the finals, and that was some question about, you know, Captain America's villain or whatever. And she goes, honey, it came to me, it was the Red Skull. And I was like, good, I'm glad you're retaining this knowledge. It's important. I know you have to be a scientist by day, but at night I want you to retain that easy crap.
Comic nerd by night.
Yeah. I really am. I mean, I love watching you and your wife open the just because I'm like, wow, at least she, you know, gets in there. I won't even do that. I'm super jelly on that.
I will say, I know how fortunate and blessed I am in that. Like, I don't believe me. I don't take that for granted. I don't like it means a lot to me. I make sure to tell her it means a lot to me. It's honestly her idea. I started picking up, I started doing them solo and stuff like that. And I think I came home one day with like 5 of them or something.
Yeah.
And she was like, you want me to do it for you? And I was like, I mean, you can do it with me if you want. And she was like, okay, let's do it. And so like, that's what started it all.
Nice.
Does she read them too?
Do what now?
Does she read comics too?
She cares nothing else about comics outside of just opening those packs with me. Like,
that's
she
okay.
No, yeah, absolutely. No, I don't push books on her or nothing like that. She goes to the movies with me to watch them. She watches the TV shows with me and stuff. She enjoys that. Like right now we're reviewing Sandman, and so she's watching Sandman with me.
Right.
So like she enjoys, you know, She-Hulk. She didn't watch. She didn't enjoy it. She didn't like it, so she didn't really watch it. And I'm not, you know, sore or whatever about it. But I do know like exactly how fortunate and how, you know, I am to have that, because I know that's not a common thing. And so I'm very grateful of her and just you know, doing fun stuff with me. So
one of your videos with her is how I know you didn't like Tom King, because when you guys opened that Walmart pack, and then she was feeling that one cover because she thought it was embossed.
Yeah.
It was drawn. And you saw Tom King on it, and you could see the scowl on your face, and then it was almost like, "Hey, you're gonna like this shit."
I said, "Well, that's going to Cole," and she said,
"Cover, but
yeah,
right."
She's like, "Why you say that?" I said, "It's Tom King." She's like, "Okay, what's wrong with him?" I was like, "I don't like him." It's just like, oh, okay, well, Cole, you're getting another book.
Yeah, I me personally, that's what I like to watch is when you guys open the Walmart packs together.
But what brought you to YouTube to begin with?
I think like I was just looking for like I don't have any nerd friends. Like I don't have anybody to talk to about comics and stuff like that. I'd started watching people and like spec stuff, and I was like, that seems like it'd be cool. That seems like it'd be fun, and like, you know, if eventually enough people liked it or whatever, and I started getting a little money, you know, to put back in comics, that'd be great too. So I just started filming and just figured I'd see where it went. And
right.
And you got some editing skills. Your videos are edited nicely.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I've learned that on the fly. Like
I'm a one take wonder. I mean, I do edit sometimes, but it's been, yeah.
He's got more rage delete videos than ones.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
I am such a perfectionist that like I can't like y'all. I need to do one that's just not edited one day.
Yeah.
They're probably about 2 times the length of whatever it is that comes out.
Yeah.
And I'm so horrible at speaking that like it's so chopped up, and I've
the
had to learn.
Reel.
Yeah,
do the blooper reel.
I need to. Yeah.
What's he
well,
saying?
I put a blooper reel on one of mine, and it was of me and my son, and I was trying to get him to like time it with me at the same time of saying, "Y'all have a good one," and he never would hit it. And so I was finally just like, buddy, just say the first part and I'll jump in. I'll time it just right. And so that was it. And so I did that one because it was cute.
Spent the rest of the night in the basement with no food. When I tell you to get something right, you get it right.
I know, right?
John's Comics for Kids was saying, "Yo, 22, I got that Santa Mutant key. First appearance Friday. Get ready."
Yes.
What are you talking about?
Santa I'm going to ask you, what is it? What is the Santa Mutant?
Yeah. Okay. There is the 19. I could be mistaken, but I think it's Marvel 1992 Holiday Special. It's an awesome, super dope cover. But it's the first appearance. It's the first time that Santa is revealed to be a Omega level mutant. And so I was going through my top 10 spec, like the top 10 cover price list. Yeah. And I was coming up with alternatives for it. And somebody had thrown some crazy spec out there. And I was like, all right, if we're going to throw crazy spec out there, here's this. You know, at the time, Mark Hamill had been, he'd been slated to possibly be in the Guardians holiday special.
Got it.
And so we were like, who better to play Santa Claus than Mark Hamill? On top of that, James Gunn had been quoted saying that he was getting ready to introduce the greatest superhero of all time. And again, I was like, that's freaking Santa Claus. Like, how does James Gunn do a holiday special and there not be a Santa Claus?
Right.
Of course, I was wrong, but that's the whole part of speculation. Like, you're either going to be wrong or you're going to be right. And it's still just a cool book. It's got an awesome wraparound cover. It's a square bound book. Like, I still want the book. I don't even care that there's no Mark Hamill Santa. I just want the freaking book now.
I will have to look for it myself. Interesting.
Oh, yeah, Santa's not even. I might have this.
Santa is on there. He's on the back though.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yes, that's it.
I might have it in a box next to me, and I just haven't read it yet. Because whenever I see those holiday specials, I pick them up.
Yeah, yeah. So on the back cover, like towards the open side, you'll see Santa like running from all the mutants and everything, and like he's got a sack of stuff on the back. It's an awesome cover. Like,
nice.
Because what got me into those, because I'm a big Captain Marvel fan, and it was Miss Marvel back in the day. But the final 2 issues of her first series are in those holiday specials.
Oh, cool.
So 22 and 23, they end. Her series ends in those specials.
Yeah,
all right. 22 is a good number.
Kevin, yes, there we go. Kevin Bacon is
Bacon's
the
the greatest
superhero.
superhero.
All right, so did you watch the holiday special 22?
I have not seen it yet. We're
Oh,
slated to watch it
there's
here
a
soon to do a
post-credit
review
scene,
of it.
so stick around for the post-credit scene.
Awesome. I love those. I love that Marvel does those. It's very disappointing when they don't. So,
You know, the first post-credit scene I ever remember seeing was to Masters of the Universe, when Skeletor came up out of the lava at the end of the credits.
okay. I've never watched that movie.
What?
I know. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I was never a He-Man fan either.
I'm not a big He-Man fan, but it was a live action movie with kind of a hero, so I was all about it.
Yeah.
I'm a Conan guy, and I always thought He-Man was a little too kiddie. Yeah. Like he's got this big sword, not one person gets cut ever.
It's like the Ninja Turtles.
Not the original Turtles. The original Turtles killed.
Oh yes, no, I'm saying like in the movies and stuff like that.
Right.
Come on, Leonardo, you're gonna do better than that. Like
it's like watching a G.I. Joe cartoon, and there's like 7 billion ray guns shooting, and not one person gets shot.
That's where stormtroopers came from.
Yeah,
right? they're all like Cobra and G.I. Joe members.
Yeah. It's the offspring of them. Eventually, you know.
It's no lie, man. Choo 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 choo, and it's like nobody's fallen. What happened here?
You might as well just sit there and just save your ammo. I
right.
mean.
Right. Now with the saturation of all of these comic movies in this just this absolute goodness of what we have that we never had as kids.
Yeah.
What has been in the past years? What has been your favorite superhero movie? Whether it's a DC, a Marvel, or some independent superhero film.
I absolutely loved the newest Matt Reeves Batman, and I love that Robert Pattinson proved a lot of people wrong on that as well. And
I knew he would be good, but he's been in a lot of solid movies, and everyone just goes, "Oh, he played a glittery vampire. That's all he can do." It was like he didn't watch anything else he ever acted in.
Exactly. Well, I felt like it was kind of the Ben Affleck syndrome, because Ben Affleck didn't make Daredevil bad. Now Jennifer Gardner maybe a little
the writing dead.
Exactly. But Ben Affleck he's the one that gets the short end of the stick, and everybody blames him for that movie being a failure.
I enjoy him as Daredevil.
Yes, it was good. I liked it. So yeah, I like that they did the detective. That's what everybody, including myself, had been wanting for years, was a detective Batman. What's going on, Biggie? Movie. And so like I'm so glad that they did that. Of course, the Iron Man stuff, even Iron Man 3, which Iron Man 2 and 3 people don't like, but I love them all. I enjoyed them all.
I enjoy them too. But with the Batman too, they needed to do something different. Right? You have this whole aspect of him you keep not showing.
Yeah.
And you have to start introducing new villains. You can't just use the same 3 villains all the time.
So I want, if they're going to do a trilogy, I want a Victor Zsasz movie, and I want a real Victor Zsasz. I don't want this garbage from Birds of Prey. I don't want this guy from Gotham. I liked him, but I mean, he was limited to what he could actually do. I want a real like Victor Zsasz, and I want a. I think we talked about it the other day. I want a ventriloquist. Where yes, I want one where it's like is this guy really crazy or is this doll really alive? Like, I want one of those kind of things where it's like
it's borderline like horror almost too, isn't it?
Yes. I think that would be amazing. I would love that. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, they're definitely. I think what I like most about the Batman movie, and I think you touched on it, is the detective part. But it was the beginning. I mean, like, this was Batman raw. Batman. Yeah. I'm only been Batman for 2 years, and I don't know shit, and I'm still learning shit, and I have to ask people about stuff. Yeah. And I don't have all these fancy gizmos yet to help me. Because he was getting, thrown around pretty good there and taking hits, and I loved it.
That's what I was going to say.
And here's the thing. He did not win. You know, he
Yes.
didn't win in that movie.
Right.
He lost, and everybody even you know, from a win-loss scenario, he didn't win.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it didn't matter because he developed as a character. He developed other characters. He developed a city. I think you know, it was the great stepping stone to the net. Do another one. I want to see another one.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I thought one of the most underrated scenes in that movie too was just at the end, just when he's leading the people through the water, and he's got
Right.
just, you know, you don't get to see the Batman man of the people aspect a lot, you know, or this is why he really does this.
Right.
Well, and I kind of wonder if they were going for a religious aspect on that as well. Like, I am the light, and like he's leading. He is the son of Gotham kind of thing. So I almost kind of wonder if they were trying to do touches of that, because a lot of Snyder's was like religious stuff as well.
Right.
Like, really, Batman, you're gonna make a spear out of all the things you could have made to stop Superman? You gonna make a spear? Yeah, that's
Cave Batman.
Yeah.
So, I love the Doctor Strange stuff. That, like, as much as the Iron Man movies have taken me to like wanting my Iron Man books and wanting, like, the Doctor Strange movies have done the exact same. Like, I love that character now. I love Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange.
Oh, he's so good.
Oh my gosh. I've liked him
Definitely
ever
saw
since the Sherlock TV show. Like, I used to watch that. That was so good.
That was good.
And that's got what's his name that plays Everett Ross in there as well. So
it does. And they're such a good team. They're such a good Watson and Holmes.
Yes. So yeah, I really enjoy Multiverse of Madness. I didn't go in thinking what everybody else was, that this was going to be like a multiversal endgame. I don't know why people
I didn't think that either, and I really enjoyed it.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
In America Chavez, like, didn't know what to expect from that character, and I really liked her character in it a lot too.
And I feel like that was the most MCU movie so far in the phase. That, like, yes, we brought in America Chavez, who's gonna be something eventually, whether she's gonna be in the Young Avengers or whatever else the case is. Yeah. But like, that movie didn't necessarily focus on like Chavez. Like, yes, she was there. Yes, she was a main character, but she didn't go over Doctor Strange. Whereas so many of these, yes,
right,
so many of these other movies and TV shows in this phase have always all been about the sidekick and getting the Young Avengers here, because that's essentially what we've done. You know what I mean? Every show has brought in a new Young Avenger, pretty much.
Yep.
Well, that's where they were going. You know,
right.
Kate Bishop. You know, that's why Ironheart was introduced in Wakanda, which, by the way, from what I'm hearing, I have not seen it, but what I'm hearing, they didn't have to have her. They didn't have to have her in that movie.
So they didn't have to, but they did fit her in nicely. I will say Black Panther, like, I didn't expect much from Black Panther. I thought it was going to be overrated. It was a good movie, but yeah, you could have had somebody else, but you might as well go ahead and introduce Riri. I will say that. It wasn't forced to me.
Right.
But like, Marvel should, in my opinion, I don't get paid by Marvel because, you know, I'm just lonely old little guy from the South. But Marvel should have been like bringing out our Kate Bishops, our Wiccans, our Isaiah Bradley's grandson, all of them. They should have been bringing those out in Phase 3. Like, we should have been seeing glimpses of them throughout Phase 3.
Like, starting to weave them in.
Exactly. And like, nobody would expect any of those characters to be in Endgame because they're all children, number one.
Right.
Number two, I think Cole fought me a little bit and he said, well, Kate Bishop would have been there. And my rebuttal to that is, if Hawkeye had sat there and said, no, I need you to stay here with the wife and kids, right, I think Kate would have stayed. I think you could have swung that to where Kate would, okay, this is my place. This is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to protect the family.
Right.
And that would have kept Kate out of harm's way as well. So I think they missed the boat on that. I think that's what the mess up is. And that's all this phase has been a, let's introduce these new, and they just take the spotlight. And it's like, y'all don't have to do that. Like, you give, what's her name? Romanoff, her own show, her own movie.
Natasha?
Yeah. And it becomes like Yelena's more interesting than she was because the way it was wrote.
Right.
Like you give her a swan song, and it's just not even her song.
Yeah.
She's playing backup vocals.
I
in
don't
that
know,
bitch.
man.
Come
She had
on.
that badass moment at the end when she broke her own nose. I was like, whoa, that's badass.
Oh, she had lots of badass moments,
Yeah.
but I mean, I personally I enjoyed Yelena way more just because she was funny. Like,
Right. Well, I
I
mean,
thought Yelena was good in the Hawkeye series too, though.
yeah,
Especially
yeah,
that
absolutely.
conversation with her and Kate.
Well, we were talking about it on the podcast, and like that's such a like the Hawkeye thing could have been fleshed out with Yelena. I didn't kill her. Stop this. You know what I mean? And you got that at the very end of the series.
right.
But yeah, her
I
interaction with
love that
Kate going
show, though.
through the hotel, the whatever it was, the rooms, going from
Mm.
room to room fighting. That was awesome. That was probably the highlight of that show. Like, I love that.
It was, and just her sitting down cooking her noodles, and
Oh, that I didn't care for. I was like, oh, this is disgusting. Like those
oh no, it
freaking
was great
macaroni sound disgusting.
because Kate's sitting there, and she knows at any moment if Yelena wanted to, she could just kill her because
Right.
Yelena's
Oh,
that
yeah.
badass, you know.
Yeah.
So it's more intimidating that she's being overly nice to you because you don't know when the snap's coming.
I liked when Kingpin showed up.
I'm so happy they got Vincent D'Onofrio back. So
Yeah.
happy for that. I
Yeah.
will say I agree with John what he's saying as far as like keeping actors and actresses, but like I think it's a rumor, but so far the rumor is right now that the Letitia Wright who plays Shuri, she's signed on for like 12 appearances, and that the girl that plays Riri Williams, I can't think of her name. I want to say it's Dominique something. I'm totally, anyways, but Riri is signed up supposedly for 20 or so.
Wow.
And I don't know if that's per episode. And again, that's just the rumor mill. I don't know anything for certain,
Right.
but that's what I keep reading.
Well,
Plus,
Anthony,
you got to do these extended contracts now to make it affordable, so the doctor can't go, well, you signed me for 2. If you really want me back, it's going
Right.
to be $1 billion.
well, I mean, no, but I mean, like Ant-Man's gonna have his daughter in the Quantumania movie, and I mean, she's supposed to be stature, you know, in the comics. So, will they introduce her as stature? I have to think so. Either
Yeah.
she's gonna go big or go small. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she's the next Wasp, or
Well, I assume it'll be her trip through the quantum realm, probably without a suit, that gives her those kind of powers. I mean, you sat there and saw what happened to Van Dyne while she was down there, and she had a suit.
Right.
Like, she came back with some wicked powers that we still don't know everything about.
right.
So,
Sturdy like something.
Shang-Chi was good.
It was.
Shang-Chi was great,
I
but like,
love that scaffolding fight.
oh my god. So I love that movie, but the more I watched it, the more I didn't like it.
Mm.
And I'm worried about the sequel only because the guy that did the choreography for that was Jackie Chan's choreographer, and he passed away.
Oh,
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, I hope it's as good. Like, I feel for that family and stuff like that and that crew, but like, I am worried about that because like it was totally felt like a Jackie Chan movie, and I love that. Absolutely loved it.
And you know what surprised me in that is how much I enjoyed the Aquafina. She was great in that movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, she kept
Right.
it. Yeah, she kept
she
it
played-
light.
Right. No, but her acting was good. I thought she was a good 1-2. The good second to his first to
Right.
play off of. I like that she called him off. I like the making fun of the name.
Right.
Sean, John, really? That's as clever as you got, and you know.
Yeah.
But I thought she was really good, and she wasn't an actress that I had a lot of exposure to.
Right.
So I've seen her in 2 movies that I thought she was great in because I loved her in the second, the Rock movie, Jumanji.
Jumanji.
Okay.
Oh, when she was doing her Danny DeVito, I thought it was incredible. It was so funny.
Excellent.
What's her name? The girl that plays Echo, is it Aquila Cox? Is that her name? I can't
I don't
remember
know.
her name.
I don't know
either.
any of these actresses' names, but
So-
if I see their face, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, there's Echo.
I'm
The
anxious
young-
for her show.
The young lady that plays Echo, that's her first gig, quite like the young lady that plays Ms. Marvel. That's
Mhm.
her first gig as well. And like
Right.
I was blown. Like, I love how she's doing Echo. Like, I'm so, and I think a lot has to do with the writing, but she is totally delivering everything that I want from.
And she's got good screen presence.
Yes, yes,
Right.
absolutely.
Like if you have someone playing a hero, when they come on screen, they kind of have to command the camera, and I think she does that well.
I
Yeah.
agree.
And if we're going to talk Miss Marvel, that is a show that absolutely charmed me every single episode. Every single episode I had a big old stupid smile on my face, just thoroughly enjoying myself. And her and everyone in her family, just all the interactions were so great. They felt so real and genuine. And that was a show, just every episode you were just having the best time ever watching it.
Right.
I'll agree. Like, I loved her enthusiasm. Like, you could totally tell that she was a fangirl that just got the dream job of her life. And so I love that. Absolutely love that.
I did like the Eternals too, Journey.
Oh, I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. It was boring. I was done. So done. But back to Miss Marvel. Do you think that we get Sentinels from the Ms. Marvel TV show?
Sentinels?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So here's why I asked that question. The second to the last episode, you've got like a drone, one of Tony's drones,
Right.
that's like flying around and it's trying to find Comrun.
Mhm.
All right. And it's identifying people and stuff
Right.
like that.
Oh, true.
So
I
I'm
didn't
like,
think about
I
it that
bet
way.
this is like the start of Sentinels right here. Like this, right? It could be, anyways. That's my kind of take on it.
That's not a bad take, because yeah.
So
Sentinels, yes, please.
see, telling you.
Could be. Could
I
be.
mean, they're searching for people like that. They're searching for people like mutant type people. So I'm just saying that's got Sentinels written all over it.
Now, go ahead, Jim.
No, I'm listening. I'm like, he's not wrong. Could be.
And I don't know about you guys,
I'm
but I'm real curious, like what happens with Deadpool 3 now that it's still going to be an R movie. Is it going to be as bad of an R movie, like with some of the really bad jokes he tells, which are hilarious? I wonder if they're going to clip the R a little bit, or if they're going to just let Ryan Reynolds go full Ryan Reynolds in it. And I wonder if the rumor's true that they're going to introduce Gambit in it, because I'm not a big Gambit fan, but I would be down to see a Channing Tatum Gambit in the movie.
Oh, okay. So I have heard about the Channing Tatum deal. I heard that could be like a spoof cameo of like Deadpool and Logan coming in and be like, "Who the hell are you?" And he's like, "Oh, he's using his Louisiana accent. I'm Gambit or whatever." And he's like, "Oh, you're somebody totally different in my world. So whatever, get out of the way." And that's like all you see of him. Like,
right.
he doesn't even get to be Gambit.
Right.
I wonder, like, my thought is, will Ryan Reynolds like be able? Is he going to sit there and continue to be Deadpool afterwards? Because rumor mill is this is it for him, but that's also just rumors. So
Right.
I think that has a lot to do with it. Because if like he's done after this, like there's no point in making this like a need to watch movie. Like you go there, you watch Deadpool, you have fun, and then you don't have to watch this to understand the rest of the MCU.
I think if he was going to be done after this, Marvel wouldn't invest in a third one.
No, I disagree. I disagree.
And I think Ryan Reynolds...
here's why. And I disagree. And here's why. He'll make them a lot of money, and they don't care how many he wants to do.
But Ryan Reynolds is going to make a lot of money from Disney too. That's why I don't think it's going to be his only one. He's going to get that Disney paycheck.
No, yeah, well, he needs that. He bought that damn soccer team over there in Wales, and he's got to pay for it because they're
Mint Mobile pays for that.
I was going to say he's got a phone company. Like,
I'm just saying he needs that Deadpool money to keep that soccer team going.
Yeah.
And I gotta think. I mean, I think we all have to agree to this, that as an actor, there's some out there that just want to do more than one thing, and he wants to continue to, I mean, I'm sure he wants to expand and do something different,
But he's still doing different things. He's had like 6 movies come out in the last year.
Yeah, I'm not saying he has. I'm just saying I think he's I would be surprised if he didn't say this is it. I'm done after this. But
He
I
did
mean,
the movie
you know,
with The Rock and Gal Gadot. He did the thing with Will Ferrell here recently that's apparently a hit.
I'm saying from a standpoint of at some point he's going to be like, all right, I'm done with this character. I'm not saying he won't do other movies. He definitely wants to do other movies.
Yeah,
and he's doing them, but I don't know.
I'm totally on your side, Jim. I agree with you. Like I could see him being done with this.
I think you're both crazy because this is a character that only existed in these new movies because of how hard he pursued it. Because he loved this character so much and he wanted to portray it in this way.
Same as Wolverine.
Right. Yeah.
You know, Hugh Jackman did it for 17 years. I can see Ryan Reynolds having a similar run on Deadpool, right?
If Disney doesn't reach out and get the chick from Prey, the Predator movie on Hulu, if they don't reach out and get her to play X-23, they're out of their damn minds because she is freaking perfect for that movie. And if you haven't watched it, there's what you got to do for this weekend. Let's go watch Prey.
I saw Prey. I thought it was a good Predator movie. I didn't think it was next level like they said, though.
Not next level, no. But it was...
They marketed it like it was next level. And it was a good, solid Predator movie.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I'd have to think about that. Is she X-23?
I still like the Daphne Keane. I thought they should have brought back. She was a great X-23 in the Logan movie.
I agree.
She was intimidating for a little girl. Like if I saw her, I'd probably pee myself right there in front of her.
Yeah, I'd like to. I mean, I haven't checked to see what she looks like. She's got to grown up now, so I mean, you know, and she might be able to play that role as well. But you know who I was thinking maybe she could play. You know, typecasted as.
Or we can make Daphne Keane Kitty Pryde now. Bring her in as Kitty Pryde.
No. No.
Nicholas, what's up, buddy?
First of all, I'm sorry about the feedback. I'm a rookie at this streaming stuff, but my man Deuce is on. I gotta come through.
I appreciate you, man. It's fun.
Yeah. X-23 right on the mark for Kitty.
Well, I'm saying if they don't give her X-23 again, which I think they should bring her back as X-23.
Oh yeah.
And then you can have then you can introduce Honey Badger.
Make her Honey Badger.
So Nick, thanks for coming on. Guys, that's our show for tonight.
I was just about to ask you guys to start all over.
No, but I was going to throw it over to you real quick because you just joined. If you had a question you wanted to ask him.
What did you go?
You're just here for the fun.
Have you? Well, it's never fun on this channel. I mean,
right. That Gary guy is such an ass.
He is. Never picks up my phone calls when I'm trying to buy him stuff. He's just have you asked Deuce the first comic book question?
Which is?
No, I mean, what was his first comic?
Oh, I did not. Because you know why? Because I don't remember my first comic, and I think when people say, "Oh, that's my first comic," I think they're making that shit up.
I was
gonna say my generic would be X-Men. So,
what was the time period you got into comics?
The first go around was in the 90s, so early 90s, 90 to 93.
So Super Pro, Carnage,
not Super Pro, Venom,
ASM 347 around that time.
Probably not Spider-Man.
Man, he said not Super Pro. He just broke Bearded's heart.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
It's all right. That guy, Greg's a good guy. I like Greg. Yeah, it's just seeing Deuce do his weekly thing. What is your philosophy in buying books? All right, say I gave you $10,000 to buy books today. What would you buy?
All Speedball keys.
Yeah, I would. Yes, blow it all on Speedball, and then just start handing Speedballs out as AOKs.
We're talking comics, people. Okay.
If I had $10,000 right here, right now, I would have to pick up probably an extremely low grade TOS 39 just to go ahead and have that in there. And I think I could get that with half or less of that money. But what would I do with the rest of it, though?
Nachos.
Nachos.
That's a good question. That's a really good question. I mean, I worry about the spec of like everything now, honestly, because like the MCU, the way it is kind of shown me how much like the comic book community, as far as like people being in it and it growing, like how much it relies on the MCU, like how many people the MCU actually bring to comic books and stuff like that. And so I kind of worry on that aspect of it. I would probably I'd just fill up my PC. Like I'd probably buy some things here and there that were just, maybe kind of bigger spec books or something like that. But like it would be.
Are there like any keys that you would pick up other than the Iron Man one? I mean, are there ones that you? I mean, $10,000, man. I mean, you'd bought a few keys with that, I would think.
Well, and that's what I'm trying to think of, because I mean, then you take into grade and stuff like that. Like, of course, I'd want a giant size X-Men one like that. I would love to have that, because of Nightcrawler and Colossus and stuff like that. I would love to find. I'd love to find a Doctor Strange #1, because I don't know that I'd actually still be able to get his like first appearance, but I would love one of those.
Oh, like the Tales of Suspense.
I already said Tales of Suspense. That was the first one. Yeah, 39 was the first one out of the bat. Was it House of Secrets 92? That Swamp Thing? I'd love to have that. The first Swamp Thing. Yeah,
and I learned from Dope Comics that the character drawn on that cover was actually Louis Simonson.
Yeah, it's not actually Alec Holland. Alec Holland, I think, first appearance is in Swamp Thing #1. So, which is odd and weird, but so what is it? It's Strange Tales number 205. I think that's the first appearance of Deadman. I'd love to have one of those. So I would go into Silver Age keys and maybe start going into like Golden Age. That's exactly what I would do, honestly, because I've started looking at like Green Hornet Golden Age books, and I really want to start, because there's like 45 issues in that, and you don't find too many of them all the time. So I would start finding Silver Age keys and the Golden Age Green Hornet books.
So keys for keys' sake.
Keys for keys' sake? Like what keys would I look for?
So what I'm saying is like if I had $6 million.
Okay.
Yeah, that escalated quickly.
He gave you only 10,000.
Right? Nick's got 6 million. You get 10,000.
I'm gonna say, well, I mean, I like myself a little bit more than I like Deuce.
Oh,
you were an equal footing until he heard you trash Spider-Man for 2 straight shows.
Yeah,
true.
see,
That's true.
Your stock went down.
What I'm saying is, if I had $6 million, and I'm just giving that amount for the books I'm about to mention, I wouldn't consider Action 1, Detective 27. I wouldn't want those. They just don't fit me. I don't care about those books.
I got you. Yeah.
But I feel the same way as you do, though, Nick, because there's certain keys I'm like, yeah, I know it's a great book, but I don't care about that character one bit. Well, and we kind of talked about that in the 10-1 the other night, that if we got it, oh, this is nice. All right, I'm going to go sell it and buy a bunch of these books I like that aren't worth as much, but I love them.
Yeah. Exactly, because I think Rob said something about, I'm sure you would appreciate having an AF-15. I'm like, yeah, absolutely, I would. I'd love to see it. I'd love to hold it. I'd love to pull it out of the bag and smell it, whatever else the case is. But as soon as I find somebody that wants to like buy it from me or trade me like a TOS 39 and other books for that one, like it's out the house, like it's gone. Right. So like I wouldn't care to have a Fantastic Four #1, but that Fantastic Four, I think is it 4 that's Doom's first appearance? Yes, absolutely. Sign me up today. I'd love to have that. So yeah, I mean
Are you a Doom? You're a big Doom guy?
I'm not a big Doom guy, but I like the character. He intrigues me. I like his intelligence. I like the way he does things. Like it's very intriguing to me. So,
Right.
but I've not read a ton of Doom. Now, I will say the infamous Iron Man run that's Doom as Iron Man, freaking amazing. I love that book. That is by far one of the artwork's on par. The story is great up until you get to the end. But it's still a great book. I absolutely love it.
Well, I'm curious who's going to play Doom next as well, because I didn't. So far, the 2 Doom interpretations we got on screen, I didn't like either Doom interpretation.
Everybody
keep giving him electric powers. He doesn't have electric powers.
So, like, everybody's focused on Doom. I'm more focused on like Secret Wars and like what's coming up. And I know that like Emperor God Doom, like that's there. Don't get me wrong. But with all the incursions and stuff like that, I want to see Miles Teller come back as Reed Richards and then turn into the Maker. That's what I want to see.
That would be dope.
Are you like right?
That would be because Feige wants to do that with everybody. Everybody who's played, and I would love to see in Secret Wars Dolph Lundgren come back as the Punisher.
Oh,
that would be great.
I'm glad you said. You know why? Because that movie gets way too much hate. That Dolph Lundgren Punisher is not as bad as everybody
Dude,
does.
Hasselhoff is Nick Fury. Bring them all,
right?
Bring them all in.
That would be great.
As far as Biggie says, I would definitely, for me, if I had, all right, let's say if I had 10 grand.
That's good casting.
If I had 10 grand, I would definitely pick up a 181 high grade.
See, I go for 180.
Oh, well.
Now, 22, let me ask you this, because Nick's on the show. They're rebooting The Crow. What are you looking for in a new Crow movie? Like, do you think anything can hold up to the Brandon Lee one, or were you even a fan of that movie?
I've watched it once. I liked it for what it was. It's not something that I've looked out for and like wanted like another one of. I feel like some movies don't need to be Crow's something different, but like I feel like some movies are just classics and they don't need to be like Jaws. Jaws is a classic. You could reboot Jaws and make it whatever, and people have tried and they've failed a lot. But like some movies are just classic and don't need to be modernized. They don't need to be rebooted. They don't need to have those things done to them. Right. And I wonder if Crow is one of those movies that like you just don't do that.
I've liked the first images we've seen of it so far. I don't know if you've seen them with Skarsgård as the Crow. I thought he's looked good. He's a good actor. It'll be all about the presence. Yeah, it'll be all about the presence he has as the Crow when he's on screen, though.
See all that crow behind him there.
Yeah. No, I knew he was a huge fan. I absolutely knew he was a huge fan.
So, I mean, what did you think of those first images, Nick?
It's tough to say. I'm going to say I give it a shot. I wish they didn't, but they can always make something better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They can. I mean, they had the Crow TV show for a while. They had 5 sequels?
Terrible. But I mean, if you get that one right person who's a fan of it, who listens to what O'Barr's got to say, and I mean, the guy Skarsgård is a little off to me because he'll always be Pennywise, and he's a weird looking dude, man.
He is weird.
He's scary looking.
Yeah.
But that might work for the Crow because he needs to be intimidating as the Crow.
It could be. We'll see if it even gets made, because I mean it's been in production like this for a long time.
I think with Skarsgård and already the makeup, and I think we'll see it. Now, let me ask you, 22, what hero or villain that we haven't seen a big screen version of are you dying to see brought to life?
Ooh, my dying to see brought to life. Obviously, there's not one, because if there was, I would be off the top of my head right now that I'd be like, oh, I want to see this. But I would love to see, though. I love Charlie Cox's Daredevil, so we've got that. I'm loving Ben Affleck and Robert Pattinson as Batman, so we got that. I want to see like a really good Green Lantern movie. Like, I know we've gotten it once, and I know we had it with Ryan Reynolds. I don't want to see Ryan Reynolds return to the role. And it doesn't have to be Hal.
I was just about to ask you who would your Green Lantern be?
I'd be cool with Kyle. I'd be cool with Simon Baz. I'd be cool with Jessica Cruz.
No Guy Gardner though.
No Guy Gardner. I don't want him. I think the obvious choice is Jon Stewart, just because like that's my generation grew up with Jon Stewart as their Green Lantern. So I think that's the obvious one. And honestly, I could see a really cool Jon Stewart, Jessica Cruz buddy cop, either TV show or movie, and exploring like her learning how to be a Green Lantern, but also like the Yellow Ring pulling her and like her going towards fear. Like, I think that would be super, super dope. I would love that. So, I saw something for like a fan cast for, was it Bashinga, the first Black Panther?
Oh, I saw that today on Instagram too.
Yeah, that was super dope. And honestly, my first thought was like, get the guy that plays Mercer in The Walking Dead to be that Black Panther, and that would be just amazing. Like, so
Good answers.
All right,
There you go. You got Comic Journey. We need a Kilowog Green Lantern movie.
yeah, I don't know about that either.
I don't think so, poser. That's what he always says, poser.
I hate that we might lost Michael Clark Duncan. Like, he did an awesome voice for Kilowog. That was, I love that.
Can I add to that question?
Absolutely.
With RDJ doing such a good job as Iron Man, is there anything you feel lacking in that character throughout the past 12 years, 14 years? Would you have liked to have seen like the alcoholism stuff, him being a little bit more real?
That wouldn't have pushed me over the edge with him. I wish that 3, they always talked about it taking him back to the cave, and I wish we got more of that. I wish there would have been more of him like doing what he does with what he has, kind of thing, and not these Christmas ball bullshit things and stuff like that. I didn't like that. I wanted him to like actually come up with some really cool stuff and not Home Alone. So that was my probably one. I liked the movie, but that was my one like ridicule of it. That if that's what they were meaning of him going back to the cave, like that was not what I had in my head at all. So
And also, as being an Iron Man guy, is Mandarin your favorite villain?
no.
Really?
Yeah, no.
Well, they killed Mandarin anyway. I mean, it was horrible. They
Yeah.
injured Mandarin. I mean, you can't bring that. That was
Listen, that Ben Kingsley before the turn was perfect.
Oh,
would have
yeah.
been
Right.
He would have been.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I did like that portrayal, like up until you get the twist, which was not a good twist.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even see it.
But then
Right,
they
because
messed
it
up
was
the rings on
intimidating
top
the
of
way it
that.
was played.
Yeah.
So I'm disappointed in that as well. Like, make the rings magical, but now you have to tie it in with Kang and everything else. I think, anyways. And so now they're the bracelets, which I was honestly hoping they would be like finger rings of like either McLuhan's or like Fing Fang Foon or something like that. Like, that would be cool, but we're not getting that. There's no way we get that.
Yeah.
I would think.
Jim, you're not taking your clothes off, are you? Jim? Not again.
Right?
Okay. He's still dressed.
From what you can see.
Right. He's probably pantless now.
All I need to see.
These have got to come off. I've been here too long.
I had to go. The dog needed to go out, and he
He's
was
like,
in there going, "Hey, let me out. This is boring. I don't want to sit here anymore."
Fix
And I
here.
know
Where's my
somebody's
Coco
done that.
Radiance?
So the legend, Bobby De La Ghetto wants to know who your favorite Iron Man villain is.
Yeah, if it's not Mandarin.
I love it when Iron Man fights Doom. I love it when he's fighting Doom. Like, that's
So you got that issue 150.
no. That's the one. I don't have 49. I don't have 149 or 150. I don't have either one of those. They're on my list.
When you
But
had
yeah.
10, you had 10 grand, you blew it.
Yeah, he just gave you 10 grand. That doesn't
I'm
cost
happy
that
with
much.
the golden age and silver keys that I got. Okay, like
Don't worry, Nick's got 6 million. He can float you another 10 grand, no problem.
he's got a point. I'm just saying.
Christmas is coming. I don't know.
Well, it's tough because when you think Iron Man, you don't really think of a big rogues gallery. And villain is a good foil for Doom is a good foil for him because it's the same thing with like Reed Richards. They, Tony's smart, Reed's smart. They're smart in different things. Doom, he's best when he's trying to outthink another good thinker.
Right.
Yes. Well, and like Doom's also got that magic aspect that Tony does not have. And so it's like, I don't know. I like that. I dig it.
And we haven't seen any Doom bots yet.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you're going to have him fight Iron Man and you have Iron Man's Legion.
Oh, yeah.
You can have the Doom bots fighting them. And
Who's smarter in the MCU, Doom or Tony?
I'd say-
the correct answer is Reed Richards.
Yeah.
Now, is Reed? Because I thought Amadeus Cho.
Maybe it's him now, but it was Reed for the longest.
Yeah. Reed was the smartest for the longest time. Amadeus Cho might have taken over, but it used to be Reed. He was definitely smarter than Doom, I thought.
I didn't realize there was that much weight in Amadeus Cho.
Yeah, me either.
No, I think he's right.
Oh wow!
But I think we will see a Tiger Division movie at some point too.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, with the market the way it is over there overseas.
I think we'll definitely see a Tiger Division movie.
For sure. And we know the MCU is all about inclusion and
yeah.
Look, if they make a Tiger Division movie, I'm there first day. I would love to see that.
Listen, I'll give you $3 million if you can spell Takaguchi right now.
Right?
Takaguchi.
Hey, I'm not saying I can say the names right, Nick. I'm just saying there's some fun characters in there.
Is that first issue any good?
Pardon me?
Nick shakes his head now.
The writing's been all over the place, but there's characters there with really good potential.
Right. No, he's right.
Some of their best turns have been in other people's books. Yeah. Like the White Fox when she was with Black Cat was really fun.
Yeah. You don't think they would go
their personalities really worked well against each other, and I thought that was good. As far as like the Agents of Atlas book, not so much.
Or they can just incorporate both of them and just fuse them together. That's probably what.
I think that's what they're doing with Scar, honestly, and it kind of sucks. I think Scar's meant to be Hulkling.
Right. See,
so?
I like She-Hulk, but Scar was horrible.
Yeah, with Scar being young like that, and with him looking the way he's looking, I think he's supposed to be Hulkling, and I think that takes away everybody wondering, like, so Hulkling's a Hulk kind of thing when he's not. He's like a Skrull. So
right.
I think that's what they're doing. I think Scar's there to take Hulkling's place.
Hmm.
Okay, so you got Scar, you got Riri, you have
Kamala,
and
the twins.
The twins, but the twins will age up, I would assume, right?
Oh yeah.
They'll age them up, and then Stature, if she comes to Stature.
Isaiah Bradley's grandson.
Who we saw for like maybe 20 seconds in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then
you're forgetting Kate Bishop.
Yeah, I was going with it. I just couldn't get her name out. Kate Bishop. Well, and that's it. That's your Young Avengers.
Oh, you forgot about America.
Oh yeah, thank you, Nick. America Chavez.
Yep.
So that is a potential team.
You don't think She-Hulk would be in there as like a senior leader?
No.
He has down quick.
No. You're forgetting about this guy,
right?
He doesn't.
Oh,
he
doesn't
do Young Avengers. He's strictly a solo deal.
But we got the champions.
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
Maybe the champions. Yeah.
Between all those characters, you could do the champions because Ms. Marvel, Braun, Cyclops, Alexander, and Miles. That's champions right there.
You need Richard Rider before you get Sam Alexander, though.
Dick Ryder. Good old Dick.
They're not going to get Dick Ryder. You're going to get Sam Alexander.
No,
He's got to be the mentor.
Yeah, you might get Dick Ryder for a bit, and then
you need a good Dick Ryder mentor, Jim. You just don't hop on the dick cold, Jim.
Oh, hey, Bobby.
Look at the time. I got to go.
Check out the community garage sale. Sunday is 10 a.m.
Bobby's right, though.
Young
we forgot about Iron Lad.
Yep.
Yeah, and Iron Lad and Young King. And, wait, I happen to have them all right here. And a fine 6.0, which I'll be giving away Saturday at 1:00.
Wow.
Ooh.
Hey.
Nice.
Just some lucky person that wrote in the hashtag. There you go.
Yes. Whatever you think he said, he did. Okay.
I think that
speaking from experience.
Oh, we got 22 deep in thought here.
Well, because I was trying to remember, I thought about it earlier about because like every show is putting out a new Young Avenger, and I was trying to remember like which show I had paired up for Iron Lad to come out in, and now I can't think of what it was. So, because I think we're getting him. Like I think we're getting every variation of Kang. Like, there's no reason not to.
Right.
He would fit nicely in Loki, I guess. They can shoehorn him in there at some point.
But do you guys think we'll see the young kid who's a bit older now? Because they took the time to have him cameo at Tony Stark's funeral. The one that was in Iron Man 3. You think he'll get incorporated somehow? Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly thought we would see him over there at MIT with Riri, is what I was thinking in Black Panther, but that didn't happen. But I mean, they've put him in the comic books. That Web of Spider-Man #1, I think, is his first appearance.
Yep.
So I would say they're going to do something probably with him.
He could be their guy in the chair.
Right. Something like that. He could be, instead of it being Tony that's the AI, he could be doing he could be a real life kind of thing that shoots the ideas off of. So.
But Nick brought up a good point because none of us mentioned Miles Morales. And I'm kind of curious just how they're going to introduce him live action. Is he going to show up in someone's film, or is it just going to be just a Miles Morales solo film right out of the gate and he's introduced into the universe?
No, in Sony, it'll be just a solo Miles Morales film. But I wish they would give Andrew 2 more movies and let him mentor Miles. Or let Toby mentor Miles, one or the other.
Are they having, and I don't know, really legitimate, they're doing a second Spider-Verse movie, right?
Yep.
Yes.
That should be out Christmas 2023, I think.
Could he pop up there?
Well, when you say Spider-Verse movie, are you meaning like you talking live action? Or you talking about Across the Spider-Verse? Because that's the animated with Miles,
right?
But, yeah, they could have that one little
animated in that one universe. He's not animated. He's I don't know how to explain it, but
because supposedly Tom Holland's in that movie too.
That's what
really?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, this is the Spider-Verse.
Right, because the live action universe would be part of the multiverse.
Right. That's what I'm getting at.
I knew what you meant, Jim.
Yeah, it's all of a sudden Spider-Ham flies in and it's I don't know. I'm just saying. And then who do you I want him to cast an absolute nobody. I don't want it to be anybody's son, anybody's anything. I want him to go out and find a raw, they have to have acting ability. They have to have some type of training. But I don't want it to be anybody's kid. I just want it to be bring me a brand new person.
Yeah. Right. My guy Richard on the podcast, he's always said that he wishes they would do the guy that does the voice work for Miles in the PlayStation games, because they say his voice already, and then they say he looks the part. So that's what I've heard.
And he already knows how to act like him.
Yeah, I mean he's already got the vocals down.
It's funny too because when everyone talks casting, I agree with Jim. I want to see a nobody get cast, and they become synonymous with that role. Like, Hugh Jackman was acting, but nobody really knew who Hugh Jackman was until he got
Exactly.
Wolverine.
Right.
And
he
just
almost
some
didn't
of those
take the
roles
part.
make the people. Yeah.
His wife said I wouldn't do it. I mean, she was talking him down on it. She said if he did it, he'd be stuck in that role for the rest of his career. And she said, "Is that really what you want?" And he was like, I guess he said, "Well, you know what?"
Well, he showed her the money they offered him. She says, "You know what? You should really do that movie."
Yeah.
Nick's Kix and Comix has him come around offering us $10 million. So you need to do this now. And
No, Nick's Kix and Comix won't.
Right. All his movies tied up in the reboot of The Crow.
That's awesome.
Oh,
that's funny.
All right, well, we'll start wrapping it up. We've been going for an hour and 35 minutes. We'll go around. We'll get some last questions or just some statements from the guys. Jim, we'll start with you, sir. You have any last questions for 22 here?
Yeah, I want to circle back to what John's comics with the kids was talking about with that Omega level mutant, with him coming to town soon. Is there anything that you're hoping he will bring to your collection?
Your
Yes.
wife watching, make it good.
Oh, in fact, me and the wife actually talked about this last night. I have shown her a copy of Green Hornet number 38.
Nice.
And I'm like, honey, this is an amazing price. And this company that's selling it right now, they undergrade their stuff. So I would really enjoy this if you were looking to get me a gift for Christmas. So that's what I said. Other than that, just if you throw me some Mylar bags and maybe a box for slabs, that'd be great.
Well, I just bought some magazine boards today. $25. I'm like, come on, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Bearded, it's a good thing you came in late because 22 was spreading the Super Pro hate earlier. It wasn't a safe place for you.
Spreading Super Pro hate.
Nick, you got anything that you need to add here, buddy, or ask him?
There's got to be Super Pro love for there to be Super Pro hate.
Right. Oh.
No, actually,
continues.
It's funny you say I need a copy of that for my collection.
Yeah, I don't have
really,
Super Pro. Yeah. I don't have any Super Pro.
I think I have 3 number 1s and I have the special. I'll send you a copy, Nick.
People laugh at that stuff. Like Turok number 1 for me is a necessity.
I think I've got 3 of those, but I don't have any Super Pro.
All that chromium stuff is good. All right, so you have one possibility to be in any one panel of any one comic book. What would it be? What would you say? What would you be doing?
That is an excellent question, Nick.
I know this, Gary.
I always think that Nick just lacks a little bit of confidence. If only he believed in himself more.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would get there, but I would be I'd be in an Iron Man book, and I would want Tony to be working on something in the garage, and him to be getting frustrated, and me overhear it, and me walk over there and say, "Oh, you got to connect that to that."
Did you plug it in? That's what you'd say. Did you plug it in?
I ain't got no gas.
Good goose hunting janitor in Tony's basement.
Yes.
And then the next panel is Tony going, "Thank you, you're fired."
I want to be the live version of Dunce, is what I want to be, and have my dunce cap and everything with the camera, and just walk over there and be like, "Did you connect that?
How do you like them apples, Tony?"
There you go.
All right.
That's
So my last question for you is, obviously you got a lot of great shows going on your channel, right? You have a lot of fun things going. Has there been anything else that you've been itching to branch out and try, or any new directions that you want to take your YouTube channel that you haven't explored yet?
Yeah, I want to do it's more of a lack of funds, but I want to do more statue stuff. I love statues. Right. And I'm not even talking about the big ones. I'm just talking like busts and stuff like that. Like, of course, I want the bigger ones. I have no room for them though. But like, let's see if we can do this. Come on.
Nice.
So yeah, my little statue collection I got up there with some black and white Batman. I love those. Absolutely love them. I'd love to do more reviews of that.
And he's got a little bit of the Crow there too, Gary B.
I won that from
Nice.
Mr. Neil's Comics and Video Games.
Nice.
So I'm actually trying to get a turntable so that I can do a review of that action figure, because that's the other thing I want to do is I want to do more action figure like reviews and stuff like that. So that's yeah, those are the two things that I'm kind of like I really want to kind of start getting into.
You
Branch out.
You think comics are expensive?
Right?
Mhm.
Right.
Statues are killer. All right, I have one last question, Gary, and I'll
No, go ahead. Nick, you are fine, sir.
Deuce.
Mr.
22
Nick.
Comics. Have you ever in your life eaten a fried pie?
I have not.
Okay.
Never eaten a fried pie.
Never.
I like pie, especially
like-
like apple pie with like ice cream on it, vanilla ice cream. But
Fried-
never have I had a fried pie.
Fried pie comics.
Oh, I love them.
So what is a real fried pie, though?
All right, so I'll have to find a way to maybe get some to you guys, but it's exactly what it sounds like. Here in Texas, you can buy them anywhere and everywhere.
I've
Wow.
never seen a fried pie.
I was gonna say I don't know that I've ever seen one either. So I just assume it was a slice of pie that's stuck in a deep fryer.
Exactly.
There you go.
Right?
Kind of like those Oreos.
Yeah. I've seen that. Yeah. And pickles and all that other stuff at the fair. But
No,
I
those
don't think
Now,
it's
is that more of a Texan thing, Nick, or?
Yeah, I didn't see those back in Brooklyn back in the day, but
Mhm.
definitely a Texas thing.
Wow.
All right, somebody did something nice. It's on Sports Center.
Mother.
His team's losing.
They lost in OT. I can't be mad. The Devils are playing great.
All right.
But no, all right. So guys, what's coming up on everyone's channel? Jim, what's coming up? You got a Saturday show to plug?
Saturday, 1:00. I will be doing my giveaway. I'll be giving away that slab I showed, this coin. There's books in here. Somebody's
Now,
gonna.
and where can they enter that giveaway, Jim?
I have a giveaway video on my channel. You can still sign up for now. You need to tell me what video you like I've done in the past, and just put the hashtag dig it, and
You mean I got
you'll be entered to win.
I got a lot of you, Jimmy.
You know, a lot of these books I'm giving away is some stuff from Nick's Kix and Comix garage sale.
I don't blame it. I don't believe it.
So
Nick, what's coming up for you, sir?
Thanks for the plug, Jim. Thanks for the segue. Yes, I am having the community garage sale this weekend, Sunday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. And as per usual, we have my Thursday show with my lovely co-host, Ignacio de Mejlio. We talk about anything, everything. I think today we started with anal probing, moved directly on to construction accidents, and somehow wound up, I don't even remember where we wound up, but it's a good time. Thursdays, 1 p.m. Eastern.
Nice.
sometimes they get deep, Gary. I'm telling you. I mean, there's been a couple I've watched, and I'm like, whoa.
Usually, I'm listening to Nick's show when I'm driving to get my kid from his bus stop. When I leave work, Nick's show is usually coming on.
Right.
So I usually listen to him and Ignacio in the car. And for those of you who haven't watched the show and who don't know who Ignacio is, in all seriousness, he's probably one of the most genuine, nicest guys you can listen to or interact with. Ignacio is fantastic.
Yep.
Listen, that's one of the smartest, most compassionate people I've met in my lifetime. And I'm happy to call him co-host.
Yeah, Ignacio is incredible. And you guys have a good rapport on the show together. It's funny. Sometimes I must look like a damn fool in my car because you guys get me laughing so hard. Because I think people look over and they're like, "What is wrong with that? Is he having a fit?" And I'll literally have some tears going down my cheeks. Like, are they talking about that for real?
That's what I hope for. I think Ignacio and I are not afraid to broach any subject and just be completely honest about it, and that's what I enjoyed most about that.
I was gonna say, it's not just the funny either. You guys get deep too. You guys talk about real things.
No, we've had one of the biggest comic book guys on YouTube come over and tell a pretty heart-wrenching story. So it's open anytime. If somebody wants to come on, like I say, it's an open invitation. Just hit up me or Ignacio, and you'll even pick the topic. So that extends to anybody here on the show too.
Man, if only you ever have a Friday show when I'm not working.
No, you're always working.
I know, right? But no, it's Nick's got a great co-host over there. He's got a great show. And guys, Nick's everyone's links is in the description below. So just sub up everybody you see in that description. You can't go wrong with these gents. 22, what's coming up for you, sir?
We will be recording our podcast, Comically Comic Podcast, this coming Sunday. The newest episode will drop this coming Monday, and they drop every Monday wherever podcasts are. Talking Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and Apple Podcasts. Right now, we're reviewing Sandman. We've reviewed Wakanda Forever, that movie, and we're also going to be reviewing Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special soon.
Oh.
So that's the podcast. For me, I had a comic call thing drop today on my channel from community members. Shout out to Cole's Comics Claim and SVaughn82. Awesome guys doing awesome things. Monday will be my cover price top 10 alternatives. And also, I think I'm going to drop Monday my cameo versus first appearances on controversy issues.
Hulk 181.
So that not this time. I'm gonna save that one.
He's got to build up to that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna work. I think Apocalypse will be a sneak peek. And also I'm thinking, what was another one? Archangel. And I'm gonna try and throw one other one in there. So, and then I think I'm gonna try and do another Walmart unpacking with the wifey this weekend. So that will be out next Thursday, and I know how y'all all love that. So
there you go.
All right, and coming up on my channel, we of course have another Savage Saturday comic review coming up this Saturday. Next week on the 1011, we have Comics by the Bay. And on In the Hot Seat with the Usual Suspects, we will have Rob Fat Stax on talking about his drive to 1,000 subs and just how it was setting up his epic undertaking of Comics Curing Cancer 3, which Rob organized and knocked out of the park, of course, with a lot of help from Mark from Legion of Comics and Mr. DJ Links, who are big players in that as well. So we'll talk to him about that and how that all came to be. But mostly we're going to be helping drive Rob to 1,000 subs. He's getting there. And we'll have a good time next week. But that's it for this episode, guys. I want to thank everybody in the chat. We had a great turnout tonight. A lot of fun. A lot of greatness going on in the chat. Some good jabs, some good picking. I want to thank my guest, 22 Comics. Thank you, sir. Thank my co-host, Digger Jim, for coming on. Thank you, Jim. Thank Nick for coming in. Nice to see you again, Nick.
Love you, Jim.
And everyone on this channel, they already know I appreciate them a lot. This show doesn't work without the people that come on and do it with me. So thank you all so much. And as I like to end these things, guys, keep it casual.
Oh.
Attention all, use channel sponsor Rogue Trader at theroguetraderutah.com and my code Keep It Casual for 10% off your comic cleaning and pressing needs. Remember, when submitting your books to be graded, use a trusted professional.